Short block. Here's what today is going to look like. I'm going to go over the answers from the homework from yesterday. If you did not get the homework done, the rest of class is going to be a work block, and the work block looks like a couple different things. If you've been missing some time, this is an opportunity to catch up on lessons that you've missed. If you have questions about anything that we've covered, myself, Angad, Miss S, no, not Miss S. It is Miss S. Ugh. Alex, are you sticking around today? Not Alex. Ignore Alex. But the three of ignore him. The rest of the three of us can assist you with whatever you want to go back and take a look at. If you've gotten anything incomplete, this is a day to make some progress towards completing some of those things. If you are done absolutely everything I've given you, and you are caught up to and have completed everything up to yesterday, that's great. I'm thrilled. You've got two choices. Either, no, phones are never an option. If you guys learned all of this on the first day, phones are never an option anymore. You can show me you've caught up with everything. You can jump to work from another class if you have work in another class. Or if you don't have any of those, I'm going to have a collection of math puzzles. You can pick one of those puzzles and you can spend some time working through it. Those are your options for today. None of you are doing nothing. Comments, questions, concerns? That was very I have a question, but no? Okay. So what I want you to do is just grab this out, find this page. We're going to go over the answers to this page. You guys are writing me your first quiz next week. I know we're excited about this. First quiz next week. Let's make it. Should I make it Monday? Quiz on Monday? If I did it Tuesday, it'll be last block Tuesday. I think I might make it Monday. Tuesday? It will not be Wednesday. It's Monday or Tuesday. Friday, there's no school. Big brain. I'll tell you before the end of class when the quiz is, and it's on everything we've done. So there's going to be bed mass on there. There's going to be simplifying fractions, converting from mixed to improper and improper to mixed and that kind of thing. And there's going to be comparing the sizes of fractions. And there's going to be one question on there that looks just like this. The one question on there that looks just like this, you guys will be allowed to use a calculator for. For everything else, you will not be allowed to use a calculator. You will only be allowed to use your add table, multiplication tables. So, find this if you haven't already. Get it out. Hassan. Pro D Day. And Monday's a holiday. It's wild. Not this coming Monday, but the Monday after. Next weekend is a 4-day weekend. And then we're into October already. It's wild. Okay, so here we go. Compare the following numbers, yada, yada, yada. I wanted you guys to compare them. I wanted you to order them. I told you yesterday you were allowed to use a calculator for these kinds of questions. And to remember that it's always, when you're simplifying fractions, it's top divided by bottom. It doesn't matter which is bigger. It's always, always, always top divided by bottom. So if we're going to order these things, this is the order you should have gotten. Doing the conversions, this guy here should have been negative 1.6 repeating. You need to have the repeating sign, or you need to write it as the fact that they're repeating. So you could write it as negative 1.6, the line above it, or you could write it as negative 1.6666, etc. This one and this one, negative 2 and negative 1, you don't need to change those. This one, you can use the memorization techniques that I showed you yesterday, or again, you now, as of yesterday, have access to your calculator. 1.5 is 0.5. 0.6 is already a decimal, and then 1 1/4 is just 1.25. Be careful with this one. I saw some of you guys yesterday, and a bunch of students in my other grade 9 classes, were taking this and making it 0.125. It's not 0.125. This piece here, the 1/4, is 0.25. And then if I'm adding the 1 to it, you add the 1 to the 0, making it 1. The decimal goes in there. 1.25. And now if you're going to put this in order, the order should have been -2, -1.6 repeating, -1, 0.5, 0.6, and 1.25. That's the order. And then putting these things on a number line, when you're making a number line, don't just throw things down. You need to make a scale with proper spacing. So if we're going to call 0 right in the middle here, because I've got negatives and positives, labeling a 0 is really important because we're on both sides of that sign. We put the 0 down there, and I'm going to go up by, actually it doesn't really matter, pick one. How did you guys do this one? Ethan, you had what was your scale for this one? You went up by something. I can't remember what we did. Take a look at your question. How did we label the graph? Okay, so that's how we did it. Okay, so Ethan said that he wanted 2 spaces in here and called that -1, and then 2 more spaces, called that -2. So then going up, he did 2 spaces over, called that 1, 2 spaces over, called that 2. And then if that's what you're going to choose to do, you want to label what these middle ones are. What is halfway between 0 and 1? Zach, I'd at least like you to get on the correct page. It's going to be a half, 0.5 and 1.5, so -0.5 and -1.5. And then label these on the graph. -2 is already there, but let's call it there. -1.6 repeating is going to be right there, between -1.5 and -2. Make sure you got it in there. -1 is going to be right here. 0.5 is positive, it's going to be right there. 0.6 is going to be just to the right of 0.5, and then 1.25 is going to be between 1 and 1.5. So that is what your first question should have looked like. Comments, questions, concerns on what I've done? I see a lot of you just copying down what I did, which is, I mean, for the first one, never a bad idea. Hands up if you did finish the work I gave you yesterday. You finished all the questions. Hands up high. 4 or 5 of you. Fantastic. What I'm going to do is, Sahil, did you finish all these? You did? Okay. I'm not going to go through all of them in the same level of detail. Now for this last couple, I'm just going to toss on the screen what I did do. I'll talk about it briefly and then move on. If you didn't finish it yesterday for homework, that's what the rest of today is about. Today is about catching up on stuff you've missed, finishing any homework that you just haven't finished for whatever reason. We're going to use this as a work period. So if you did get the homework done, take a look at number 2. Here it is. Because you've got a calculator now, these should be pretty easy to do. This should have been the order. Those of you who got it done. 0.3 repeating, 0.4, 2.1, 3.5, 5.3 repeating, and 7.5. The 7.5 comes from the 15 over 2. 16 over 3 is 5 1/3, which is 5.3 repeating. 0.4 is left as 0.4. 2 and 3 over 2 becomes the 3 over 2, which is 3.5. 2.1 is what 2.1 is, and that's 0.3 repeating. What I did with this one is, because there's nothing negative here, I don't need to put 0 in the middle. I put 0 on the far left, and I did the same thing Ethan did before, where I called every 2 lines, I called that a 1. So then I went up, and I went up, and I went up. So then the middle numbers are the halves. Boom, boom, boom. And I labeled all those there. So take a look. Does anyone have, those of you who did the homework, do you have any questions about what I've done? Does yours look similar? Okay. Again, it doesn't have to be identical as long as it's similar. Okay. Let's take a look at the next one. I want to go fast enough so that if you're just cranking it out, I don't want you copying my work. This is the right order for this one. -2, -1.25, -0.6, -0.35, -0.3 repeating, and 1.1 repeating. There's only one positive one, so if when you're graphing this thing, you want to put 0 over here, you slide it to the right because you got a lot of negatives, you can do that. You could have put 0 in the middle and spread it out equally. It's up to you how you choose your scale. What's really important, guys, is that your scale is uniform, so you're going over by the same amount every time. That's the one thing I really care about when you're making a scale. And then number 4 is going to look like this. Negative 1.2857 is what the 2/7 is going to look like. Negative 0.75, negative 0.5, negative 0.3, 1.3, and 1.5 is the order. And then it doesn't matter how you choose to break these things up. Going up by halves is not like calling every 2 lines another whole number is not a bad way to do it. But if you did get it done, that's what I'd like you to go do now. And again, there's 4 adults in the room. I'm not sure how helpful Alex is going to be. It's entirely up to him. But there's 3 helpful adults in the room for sure. Well, on God, who's graduating this year? No, you're grade 11? Okay, 2 helpful adults and a very helpful older student. No, he's not their peers. He's definitely older than them. He's a peer tutor. But I wouldn't put them in the same social level. Yeah, I know grade 9s, grade 11s should not be hanging out. If the grade 11s want to hang out with the grade 9s, it's a little creepy. But if the grade 9s want to hang out with the grade 11s, that's a different story. You should aspire to that, but you got to earn it. At least you did back in the day. Okay, so that's the homework. I'm going to float around. If anyone wants to see the homework in more detail, let me know. All of you have stuff to do. On your mark, get set, go.